everyone, it's Alice and welcome to my June Plan With Me video. I'm filming this a little bit later than I normally would. Normally I try and get it done before the month starts, but we had a busy few days at the end of May, so I'm actually filming this on the 2nd of June, but we'll still set it up like normal and hopefully I'll get some use out of it later in the month. As you can see, I've already started sketching some bits out, but I'll just quickly take you back and show you what ended up happening with May, as I couldn't find half of my supplies when I was filming my May Plan With Me. So I ended up doing like a really simple flowery theme. So I've got the yellow, the orange and the red on the flowers there with my It's Gonna Be May theme, my calendar, my habit tracker, which did not go the best. Like, I blogged 3 times at the beginning of the month and I blogged 2 days ago. I uploaded 3 booktoks though. No bookstagrams. Possibly this one was a bookstagram. I can't remember. I was going to give them different colours. I did not do that. But we read with the babies a lot and we did a lot of play and puzzles with them too. Sean decided he wanted to check that after I'd filmed the video. So those were late additions. But we've had an awful lot of fun because Sophia's learnt how to do jigsaw puzzles. And we just basically do jigsaws with her all day, every day at this point. So that wasn't too bad. Expenditures, kept forgetting to update it. Haven't done anything since the 6th. Read along tracking, I found this easy to refer to for our TBR, so I knew what I was kind of reading. So I am going to do a TBR page this month, but as you can see, we failed most of the read alongs. Normally we read over 10 books a month, we managed to read 8, and even that was scraping it. So hopefully June will be a little bit better. The weather is bright, my mood is looking up, so hopefully having a TBR page will help that. And then we've just got our daily spreads, and then a SWOT analysis that I did for a job interview. Daily spreads weren't going so great, kept forgetting to do things. That wasn't the best, but we're going to give it another go in June and hopefully we will get on top of things. So as you can see, for this month's June page, we are going with a bit of a colourful theme. A day at the beach. Again, as I've affectionately referred to myself, I am the unaesthetic bullet journaler. Welcome if this is your first one of these that you've seen. I'm not very good at art or drawing. I just use a box of felt tip pens and hope for the best. So we're going to give this a go. If I can find another one of my fine liners, I will do different colours. But as we've already established, most of my other pens leak through the pages quite badly. So we will try and do this with fine liners, and if I can't find any then it's just going to be black outlines and some enthusiastic pencil work. The problem with having babies is that everything gets moved, so I can never remember what has been put back quite where. I do have some more fine liners. I've got a pink and a purple. I've got a yellow, I thought it was a blue, I got really excited. Blue would have been perfect. A red. Not what I was looking for. I was hoping for a navy blue. We have it. So, I found a navy blue pen and I'm going to do my best to outline this neatly. It's not going to work. It's not the neatest. I've forgotten to do the middle of the E. My E is a little bit flatter than hoped for, but that's passable. So now I will colour the inside of June. I'm actually just going to make it all this same pen if it hasn't leaked through too badly. To be honest, I don't need to use the SWOT analysis again, so we'll try colouring with this as well. to take literally hours. Why did I think small pen strokes was the way forward? It's not even showing through that badly. Yeah, we'll go for it. As I've mentioned in my previous bullet journaling videos, I am just using an old notebook that I'd already started as I get back into the habit of using a bullet journal and rediscovering whether it is good for me. So if things do leak through, it was a gift from a friend, and I would rather use a notebook and have some leak through than not use the notebook and not try. I actually quite like it, the fact that it's a bit like rougher than I would normally colour. Smooth out the edges a little bit where I'm going over. If it starts annoying me later in the month, I'll touch it up a bit and colour it properly, but for now I'm actually really liking that scratchy effect. Try and make my ear a little bit rounder while I'm here. Tracing is so difficult, it's so much harder than you'd think it would be. There we go, June. I mean, you can tell what it says, and it's prettier than any of the ones I've done so far, I think. I can't really remember. April was like okay, but April's a bit messy. June looks semi-professional. Look, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. So I'm going to leave that to dry for a couple of seconds so that I don't smudge it when I erase things. What I had been thinking of doing was like clouds, but then I realised I have like this really funky washi tape that has clouds on it. So I'm just going to run to the kitchen and get some scissors because I knew there was something I'd forgotten to pick up. So I'm going to try to do some like strips of washi tape instead of the clouds. It might not work how I'm picturing it, but let's try some new things. Right, so get you. There. Give that a cut. And then I can like cut around the bit that's going to go over the sun. This is meant to be the sun. It's embarrassing. Please don't judge me. And also cut over the little bit that goes just over the edge of the page there. Actually, I'll just fold it over, that'll probably be easier. Only once I've cut the sun off though. Oh. So you're getting really arts and craftsy this month. I've got a bit more spare time. Huzzah! Should have thought about where I put the little offcuts. We'll just do a big clean up at the end. Ah, that actually looks quite nice. I'm going to do another strip because that was like easier than I thought it was going to be. So we'll do it like up to the top of the page, because I don't use my washi tapes all that often, but they're cute. I have too many considering I hardly use them, so I might as well actually start using them now I'm bullet journaling again. Oh, trying to get that to go like nice and flat is going to be the problem, isn't it? Right, what we'll do is we will cut that there. That hardly made a nail mark that time. Try that again. Yeah, that made more of a mark. Cut that there. Rest it on top. Try and line it up with the end a little bit more so it's not over on my calendar. I've already written the dates out for the month to view because I was like, all I do is write 30 numbers and that's not really interesting to watch. So I did that while I was pre-prepping. Actually getting ready early this month considering I'm filming this 2 days late. Right, so I've just got to cut out the sun again. And I think I'm going to have too much of a bit at the top so I can just like bend over the other side, which will be okay. Should have read the birds out first, you can see them through the tape. But that's okay, I've just got semi-transparent birds. That's not a bad thing. I like birds. I'm never going to be the most gifted at art. My friend Georgia has started doing paint pouring and it is beautiful and I'm honestly so jealous. Like, it looks so cool. And I'm thinking of buying a piece from her because it's really, really pretty. But she's like, yeah, I'm not talented. I just like developed a passion for it. Just learned how to do it. I'm like, how do you just learn how to do that? I can't even cut tape straight and I've learned how to use scissors when I was like 3. But I guess that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, isn't it? Okay, so about the line for the sun. And then I'll see if I can actually find, probably not, is the answer. I have this beautiful sun yellow tape. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing for the sun. Look at me go, aren't I getting fancy this month? So what I'll do is I'll like do the strips like across. Because that'll probably be easier than doing like lots of little strips. And it will make it more interesting to look at because there will be this up in the corner going on. And again, I don't need the page behind, so it doesn't matter if that's got lots of like tape fold over on it. But that is going to be a bit too much to fold over, so I will chop that down. And then just that last piece, when I'm going to have to do the reverse of what I was just doing and cut out the sky. Now I'm kind of thinking I should do it all the way down, but it's taking too much time, so we're not going to do that. That would be silly. Now let's hope that one piece of tape doesn't rip off all of the other pieces of tape, because that would make me the most sad sausage you would ever do see. See if I can peel that all the way off to cut it and then put it back down without it losing its stickiness too badly. It's not like the most perfect fit, but you got to admit that's cute. And I'm going to do the rest of it. Heck, the beach scene. Also looks like the pen is probably dry enough now that I can erase these clouds. Really gently go over the June to get rid of any of the outlines that were missed. Or should I leave it like that and then like colour? Oh, I could do the bottom to match the top, so it's like the 3 pieces. Yeah, instead of the beach theme, we'll do the colour to match at the bottom toppen. The bottom toppen? Wow. Alice definitely knows how to speak English, the top and bottom. This is when you can tell I'm getting too excited about doing something because I lose all my words. And this should be a little bit quicker at the bottom here because we won't have to worry about going around the sun. I did not know I was going to like this idea as much as I have. Sophia was playing with the washi tapes before Sean took the babies out. Sophia is my daughter, if you're somebody who's not watched this before. And she was playing with my tapes and that was what gave me this idea. I was like, oh, you know what? I could do like a spread that's like got that cloudy heart one on it instead of just these clouds that I've just drawn. So this is all Sophia's fault. Blame her if you're bored. I've always wanted to be somebody who used more tapes, but I never had the inspiration for it. You see people who have like stickers and they're beautifully artistically placed. And I'm like, I just don't like using stickers because it feels like too much commitment. So maybe if I'm learning how to use my tape, then my next stage will be to learn how to use my stickers. Might work. What I'll do is I'll do one more so that the June's like really nicely scented. And also this should make it really easy to find this page because it's going to be the page in this diary that has the most tape. So it should stand out really well. That might become a curse later in the year because I might just constantly keep going back to June instead of moving on to my other months. That is something I probably should have considered earlier, but it is too late now. And I'm actually pretty chuffed with that. I think that looks pretty beautiful. Yeah, why not? So now that we've finally set up my title page, we'll move on. So on the 17th, it's Sean and my 5th year anniversary. But I can't think of anything else that's going on in June yet, so we'll leave that blank. I've already started drawing out my habit tracker, so we'll do that really quickly for you. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I had some problems working out the measurements last month because my brain was not having a good day. So I thought I would work out the measurements prior to filming this month just in case it was really embarrassing again. And I was like, oh, 200? No, 120 divided by 30. It's 5, isn't it? Sean's like looking at me blankly. I'm like, no, it's 4. Like, in my defence, it's been a while since I've been at work. I haven't been doing a lot of maths. And I probably should have taken some time to work it out instead of just being like, yeah, it's definitely 5. I don't know whether I thought I'd said 150, because that would be 30 into 5. Maybe I'd been looking at doing 15 centimetres and then decided that was too small over here. So I don't know why my brain would do that otherwise, because I'm normally okay at math. It's not like my favourite, but I'm okay at it. I know basic sums like 120 divided by 30 normally. I'm going to try doing this in pencil again. So far, my first habit tracker, which was the one with the pen outline, was the most successful one for me, but I don't know if that was because it was the novelty of doing the bullet journaling again. I was really determined to get everything ticked off every single day, and I didn't manage that. But then, I don't know, May was a weird month, man. My mental health was all over the place. Like, some days I was like so down I didn't even want to get out of bed, and that's not really an option when you've got 2 toddlers. Hardly did any reading. I was actively avoiding using my phone in the hopes that it would make me do more reading, but I was just playing with the babies instead, or like doing tidying. I just would not read, and that's not helpful when you're a booktuber. Oh no, my lines have gone all skewy. That's okay, I'll try and like draw them back a little bit. It's where it's like the cork notebook. It's at a slight angle, so it looks like it's like straight as anything, and then it's actually not. But that's okay, because I'm not going to be tracking all that many habits this month, so I shouldn't get all the way down to the bottom where it's getting a bit skewy anyway. So what to track this month? I'm going to track reading 10%, because I've tracked that for the last 2 months. I've been doing that since January, and I've been reading 10% every day, even if it's been like across a few books, like 5% of one, like 5% of another. I'm still reading 10%. I'm going to track whether I've done my diary. I was getting really good at writing it daily, and then I let it slip. So I wrote the last week of May, all on the last day of May. But at least I caught up before the end of the month, because at one point last year I was like 3 weeks behind and I was constantly catching up, and it was so stressful. So as long as I'm a week behind at most, I can catch up with that in a good like 2 to 3 hours. So we'll try and keep on top of doing that daily. We'll track exercise because it's nice and sunny now. So I think we're going to be going for more walks. But I'd been tracking specifically walk, like whether we've been walking rather than like whether we've been exercising. So like if we're having a dance party with the babies but we're not going outside because it's raining, that still counts as exercise. So that might make me feel a bit better about myself. I'm going to stop tracking Songpop and Pokemon. No, I'm going to continue tracking Pokemon actually, because I will end up forgetting. I'm going to stop tracking Songpop because I'm very, very good at doing that daily. So that just feels like a box to colour in for the sake of it. But Pokemon, sometimes I forget. So that's a good one. Like just a little gentle nudge to remind me. Going to continue tracking whether I've watched a BookTube video each day. I've been really enjoying that. I've discovered some really fun channels. I've gotten a bit less regular with the commenting because we've started watching the videos during lunch again. So I need to make sure I've got my YouTube phone with me. I have 2 phones. I have a one that doesn't run YouTube and one that does run YouTube, and Pokemon and Songpop. So one's like my game, like blog phone, and one's my normal phone. But I have to make sure I've got the YouTube one near me when we're watching videos, because otherwise I forget to comment, or I'll remember the next day and be like, oh look, I've got a comment on Gavin and Jade and Becca and India's videos all at once, and it's like, okay, I can do that, but it's much easier to comment as you're watching. Yeah, so definitely tracking that. I'm going to start tracking Goodreads again, because I didn't think that tracking it was really that helpful, because back in April I didn't use Goodreads daily. But the problem is, in May, I was literally forgetting to put books on. Like, we'd be going to Markham as Read, And we only read 8 books, so that's a maximum of 8 times that it happened, but it happened more than once. So that's a quarter of the books at least that I forgot to mark as currently reading until I went to mark them as read. And then I have that whole panic of like, oh, when did I start reading this? I want this to be really accurate. So hopefully that will help with that. I do want a Bookstagram more. I just don't have the time for it, and I don't know if that's going to bum me out if it's on here and I'm not doing it. Same with Readerly. It's fun, but I think I'm going to stick with blog because I want to use the blog more. I've written 2 blog posts in 2 days, and I only wrote once other than that, like the entirety of last month. So I want to keep on top of that. Is there anything else I need to do? Well, Sean still wants to track puzzles and baby books, so we'll still track puzzles and baby books for Sean. I guess I'll just like leave it. Then we'll leave it. So if there's anything else I decide I want to add, like if I want to bring Bookstagram or BookTok tracking back, if I want to start tracking cleaning again, I can do that later in the month. But that's a good like starting point. I'll just quickly colour in what I did yesterday, just so that I'm already up to date. So I did my diary. I always use the same colour for these because it's just easier for me to remember what colour I'm going for. Oh, I need to track tweeting because I tweet every day. Actually, you know what? I don't need to track tweeting. If I want to tweet, I'll tweet. If I don't want to tweet, then I won't tweet. No? Did we go for an exercise yesterday? Went to see my parents, but I don't think that counts because we weren't outside for very long. But we did upload a BookTube video. And we watched a couple, and I'll comment on some later. So then I'll get today's ticked off as well. Did I update Goodreads yesterday? Yes, I added a quote from In the Ravenous Dark. Let's hope that was yesterday, not really early this morning, but I'll just make sure to update again later. Just to make sure. I did blog, and I have blogged this morning already, so I will colour in both of those squares. We did do puzzles, and we've already done puzzles this morning already. And we've read books to the babies both days as well. So as I said, like if I decide to change this, we can flick back and I'll let you know what I do at the beginning of July's video. Because I do have a lot of fun doing this, and it's nice to prioritise some time to set this all up. And it means Sean gets to have a walk with the babies. And he enjoys that, so that's fine. But if there's anything that I decide to track that I'm not tracking already, or if I take anything out, then I'll update you next month. Eventually I'll get this down to fine art and I'll know exactly what I want to track, and I'll know exactly how I'm tracking it. But for now, changing it semi-regularly just to try and get back into the swing of things, and so I don't feel like it's a big drain, because like last month's one was like so long. It was so long that I was getting here and I was just like, I don't remember if I've done these things. So my habit tracker is what I use the most. So opposite the habit tracker page is where I'm going to do my TBR page. So I'm just going to set that up for you. Try and make that look as close to the first page as I physically can. Semi-fancy. We are low-key taking part in Whatever-a-thon, so we will write down checkbox, and then I'll get my phone and copy across the name of the book and what duck it corresponds to on our Hook-a-Duck TBR. But I won't work out the whatever-a-thon points now. I will do that as we read things during the month, because as I said, we're only low-key participating in it. We didn't agree to do it until very late. But we do have to read our Hook-a-Ducks. So, fantasy, highest rated is Muse of Nightmares. Dealer's Choice, randomly number generated, was A Torch Against the Night. I do have a list like this on my phone, but for some reason I just don't remember to update it as regularly as I should. I don't remember to check it or to tick it off. Friend pick 2021 release is I'm Very Are Dead with Song. Sci-fi dystopian is Delirium. Dealer's Choice newly purchased is The Prison Healer. Adult YouTube favourite is A Court of Wings and Ruin. And middle grade NetGalley is Twitch. And I also have two other books that I need to read, not for Hook-a-Duck, which are Instructions for Dancing, because my blog tour is on the 30th, which I've just realised should go here. And An Ember in the Ashes, because we were meant to read that last month as part of An Ember in the Ash along, which is why we put A Torch Against the Night on this month's TBR, and we did not get to An Ember in the Ashes, so we need to do that. Also, finishing off In the Ravenous Dark. We started reading it as part of the Illumicrate read along, but we're now going to finish it off as part of the Phase and Gaze book club pick. Again, I'll link all these things down below, so if you're interested in watching the TBR, or if you want to know what An Ember in the Ash along is, then you can find all that down in the description. And yeah, that's going to be our TBR page. I'm going to draw like a little open book at the bottom there, just so it breaks up the page a bit, because that's quite a dense page. Without any art on it. So I'll colour that in later. I might decide, maybe I'll like colour in a different page of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9, 10, 11. 7, 8, 9, 10. Maybe I'll add another book to this TBR and then colouring in a different section when I finish it. That could be a cute idea. Should have thought of that before I drew it, but yeah, we'll go with that. So, I think that this is pretty much all I'm doing this month, because I'm not doing expenditures page because I'm just not updating it. I'm not going to do a specific whatever-a-thon spread because I don't know how actively we're going to participate in it. So I think this is pretty much it for this month's plan with me. I'm still gonna... No, I'm just going to start this off on the 2nd. There's no point in lying to myself and pretending that I started it off on the 1st. But I did also do everything I needed to do yesterday, so I'll just start that off on the 2nd, and then ahead I will go into the blank page land. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'm sorry that the washi tape took so much longer than I thought it was going to, but it does look really, really cute. I'm really proud of that spread. Like, it's literally just one page, but the little sun is beaming, and it makes me feel like summer is on its way. And then maybe I'll do the beach spread next month, because we might go to the beach next month. Who knows? It depends on restrictions and whether everything carries on the way that it is, but we could. So thank you so much for watching. We post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. As always, this is a bonus video because we don't normally do plan with me content. But if you enjoy book videos, feel free to pop back because we will have more of those for you. Yeah, if you like this video, please like it. If you would like to subscribe, we'll be super duper grateful, as we always are. And we will see you again in a couple of days at the end of the video. Bye! My phone's on the floor now, but that's fine. Sean's probably wondering what the heck I think I'm doing while he's editing this. Like, oh, Alice, you said you were going to do like really simple spreads when you started this off. Why are you now really intensely trimming washi tape? Well, that's because I never know what I want to do with myself until it's too late.